In the headlines, 2,583 Nigerians killed, 2,164 abducted in 3 months. Aiyedatiwa emerges winner in APC ward primary. Kenya to extradite Binance executive who escaped from Nigeria. And on the international scene, South Africa's ANC loses Zuma party name battle. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us, and the details will start with security. At least 2,583 people were killed and 2,164 kidnapped in the first quarter of this year. The data from Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited, a security risk management and intelligence company based in Abuja, has shown. The data, which recorded the number of killings and abductions across the country from January to March, showed that 80% of the killings and 94% of the abductions occurred in the north. This report, however, conflicts with the positions espoused by the National Security Advisor, the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, who said that the casualty figures were going down. The Southwest recorded 194 killings, the South 161 people, and Southeast 158. The 5 states with the highest number of killings were Borno 517, Benue 313, Katsina 252, Zamfara 212, and Kaduna State 206. Moving on, still on security matters, where gunmen have killed a professor of law at Bangkok University, Ilishan Ogun Yinka Olomojobi, and abducted 2 others in the Iperu area of the state. It says that Olomojobi was shot dead on Friday for allegedly refusing to be taken away by the suspected gunmen. While he was shot dead, 2 residents were kidnapped and taken to an unknown destination. Eyewitnesses said 8 men dressed in black and armed with guns emerged from an unknown place, went into the relaxing lounge and opened fire indiscriminately. The spokesperson of the Ogun State Police Command, Omolola Odutola, said 1 person had been arrested in connection with the incident. The APC Primary Election Committee for Ondo State has declared the incumbent governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, as the winner of the just concluded ward primary across the state. Announcing the results, which spanned nearly 4 hours, the chairman of the committee, Usman Ododo, says Lucky Aiyedatiwa scored a total vote of 48,569 to beat Akinfolarin Samuel to second position, having scored 15,343, while Olushola Oke clinched third position with 14,915. The report.
The waiting for the announcement of the ward primary eventually takes place at the Dome Hall after the scheduled election at Okitipupa local government. The arrival of the committee chairman signaled the beginning of the long-awaited exercise, and the returning officers of each local government were called to announce the results. The returning officer of Ifedore local government says no election took place there due to crisis.
Even as we were proceeding, we were warned that there was shooting in the entire wards and the area. We refused and said we will proceed to the scene and see for ourselves, having been mandated by the committee to go to the local government. We went, the entire wards, we tried to coordinate around the entire wards. We couldn't find any human being in the ward.
After the announcement of the remaining 17 local government areas, the incumbent governor was announced as the winner, having scored the highest number of votes cast.
And in accordance with Section 84, subsection 4C of the Electoral Act 2022, the nomination of the candidates with the highest numbers of votes shall be ratified by a special Congress by members of the party in the state as the governorship candidate of APC in the November 2024 governorship election in Ondo State.
As part of the party guidelines for ratification and affirmation of the results, 5 executive members from each of the ward affirmed his victory, and the APC governorship candidates expressed appreciation to the party members for the confidence reposed in him.
Thank you for being loyal party members. Thank you for being worthy delegates.
He called on other contestants to rally around him and work together for the victory of the party by November this year.
Meanwhile, another faction of All Progressive Congress, the APC in the Ganduje ward in Dawakin Tofa local government area of Kano State, yesterday suspended Umar Ganduje as the ruling party's national chairman. A faction in the ward last week suspended the immediate past Kano State governor for the party over alleged corruption. Now, however, the State Working Committee, SWC, and the National Working Committee, the NWC, squashed the suspension. But the Kano State High Court affirmed the suspension. The court also restrained Ganduje from parading himself as a member of the APC. However, Basiru Nuhu, who was named the new APC chairman in the ward, has threatened legal action. Speaking after submitting a petition at the APC office, Nuhu and 10 others claimed that they were impersonated, calling for the arrest of those who impersonated them. Away from political crisis, the Kenya Police Service has arrested fleeing Binance executive Nadeem Anjarwalla as the International Criminal Police Organization moves to extradite him to Nigeria within the week by Interpol. Government officials confirmed the development on Sunday night. Another official said that Anjarwalla would be extradited to Nigeria to answer charges against him. Following the development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, the International Criminal Police, the Nigerian Police Force, and the Kenya Police Service have deepened talks to quicken Anjarwalla's extradition. Anti-corruption stakeholders have harped on the need for effectiveness in anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism activities in Nigeria. They say that although Nigeria has some of the strongest legislations in the world regarding tackling illicit financial flows, limited access to beneficial ownership information, and inability to factor in the activities of designated non-financial institutions and businesses in Nigeria, such as Bureau de Change operators, among others, will slow actions to strengthen the financial regulation system in the country. Take a look.
Speaking during a session to intimate anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies on addressing challenges and enhancing best practices in the reporting of suspicious transactions and activities by designated non-financial businesses and professions, the Nigeria Forensics Intelligence Agency, the NFIU, says until there is a database accessible by all parties involved in tracking illicit financial flows, the challenge of inefficiency remains.
To be a major hindrance, it is going to be a challenge any which way, because at the end of the day, when it comes to AML CFT matters, you have to show effectiveness. And this is where we find ourselves with a little bit of challenge now. We have, I would probably say, some of the best legislation in the world regarding AML CFT. Only recently, we amended a number of our anti-money laundering and CFT acts, the MLPPA, for example, prohibiting money laundering. We've made very laudable steps in that direction, but obviously there is still some way to go in that direction. But the NFIU is playing a very important role in terms of collaboration. So we are cooperating with all the AML CFT stakeholders to ensure that we cross this hurdle. What we intend to do going forward, we intend to have an accessible database that will be accessed in real time, so that these law enforcement agencies like the NDLA can have accurate and timely access to beneficial ownership information. That way, it will ensure that they have speedy investigations and prosecutions.
On terrorism financing and insecurity in Nigeria, Emmanuel Uche, Anti-Corruption Program Manager at International IDEA, says improving reporting and documentation, especially the activities of designated non-financial institutions and businesses, will help strengthen Nigeria's weak financial regulations and track offenders.
The evaluation that was done on Nigeria clearly says that part of the challenges we have in this country, which includes kidnapping, terrorism, insecurity, part of it border on the weak financial regulation system that we have in place. And a sore point in that weak financial regulation system is the activity of the Bureau de Change as a member of the designated non-financial institutions and businesses in Nigeria. We are focusing not only on the BDCs, we are also focusing on every other risky sector, like the hoteliers, like the lawyers who are now more compliant and responding to SCUMUL demands for reporting, like the jewelers, like the car dealers, like the real estate people. So it's in batches. Today's own is targeted at the Bureau de Change people, but the sensitization and engagement is going to continue to the different sectors with the ultimate purpose of ensuring that we increase reporting, documentation of financial flows, particularly those that we think are illicit and suspicious.
They say that although Nigeria is still in the grey list regarding best practices and the implementation of beneficial ownership information requirements, it has made tremendous progress ahead of the next review cycle.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja will today hear the appeal lodged by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, against the order of a Kogi State High Court which restrained the anti-graft agency from arresting the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. The Kogi Court, in a ruling on February 9, 2024, restrained the EFCC from inviting, arresting, detaining and prosecuting Bello pending the determination of a fundamental rights suit he filed before the court. The anti-graft agency is seeking to arraign the ex-governor on 19 counts bordering on money laundering, the breach of trust and misappropriation of funds to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. The anti-graft agency, determined to get Bello to face the law for his alleged crime, approached the Federal High Court in Abuja last Wednesday to get an arrest warrant while the Federal High Court in Kogi was delivering judgment on Bello's fundamental human rights suit. With the arrest warrant, EFCC visited Bello's Abuja home with hopes to get him arrested but failed. An awaiting trial inmate, Saliu Akande, charged with rape, has been freed by the Chief Judge of Edo State, Justice Daniel Okungbowa, after spending 4 years at the Auchi Medium Security Correctional Center without a case file. Justice Okungbowa, who visited the prison to decongest it and to promote the speedy trial of inmates, disclosed that Section 470, subsection 2 of the Edo State Administration of Law 2018 entrusted the court with the mandate to ensure criminal matters were speedily dealt with and reduce congestion of criminal cases in the courts. He expressed his commitment in ensuring quick dispensation of justice within the state. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up, Katsina residents blame marketers for artificial shortage in fuel supply. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
When I say businessmen, I mean businessmen and women. They are driven by profit motive. But what the government can do, which is also what they've started doing, is to see how they can also come in and be part of that competition.
I mean, the tech sector is so exciting and vibrant, and this is one of those areas where I think Nigeria pulls so much of the investment on the continent of the venture capital because of the vibrance and the dynamism of the Nigerian tech sector.
For me, it's utter selfishness, because if you look at anybody who is against educating a woman, he's not against educating his own daughter. His own daughter, more or less, will be educated in whatever form of education.
We're not talking about election, we're talking about governance and national unity.
The person who took over after me didn't have that courage to look people in authority in the face and say, I won't do. Because most people believe that when they get positions, a favor has been done to them.
You cannot look at somebody's face and know what ideology is in his mind. Good people must join hands to fight evil. The mistake we think is it is only the military should do it. No. Let me tell you a shocking thing. Who are the people funding those guys? Who are the people giving them money? Who are the people giving them logistics to work? People are trading with them.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is Trust News Update. Here's a recap of our top stories. We brought you 2,583 Nigerians killed, 2,164 abducted in 3 months. And Aiyedatiwa emerges the winner in APC ward primary. Now moving on to more stories. The families and relatives of victims of a stampede in Bauchi State are calling for urgent intervention to cushion the impact of the loss on orphaned children. A stampede broke out during the distribution of food items to vulnerable groups, leading to the death of several people. In this report, Adamu Imam speaks to the orphans left behind, unable to make ends meet. Take a look.
On March 24, 2024, 53-year-old widow Hassana Adamu died in a stampede during a charity event at the AYM Shafa head office. The stampede claimed 16 lives, predominantly women and children, and left many others with various injuries. Among those affected are 13 orphans residing at Dus and Tenshi Mountain within the state capital, whose lives have been upended since the loss of their breadwinner.
After the death of our mom, actually I found it difficult because she was the one taking care of us. She was the one giving us food, shelter, education, health, and whatsoever. And today, she's no more.
We can barely afford 3 square meals a day. Getting food once a day now is a struggle, but we thank God no matter the situation. Even the one time daily we have to struggle to get and eat. Some of us are living here, while some are staying with family members.
Nafisa expressed the burden of responsibility on her shoulder as she now cares for her younger siblings. Despite graduating from the university as a microbiologist, she remained jobless and appeals to the government to provide her with employment. If not for herself, then for the sake of her younger siblings.
Shapa sent his representative for us. So they came, they visit us, they paid condolence to us, and they sympathize us. Then after they gave us something like sack of rice, 2 sacks of rice and millet. Then they gave us 250,000 for us to manage.
Hassana, until her passing, was not only a widow but also the breadwinner of her family, supporting all of them. She left behind another 5 children from her late co-wife, as well as 3 grandchildren from her late daughter, all residing at the top of Dus and Tenshi Mountain. Following the death of her husband, Malam Adamu, in 2014, after a prolonged illness, she took on the responsibility of providing for the family through various small-scale trades and meeting their other needs. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Motorists in Katsina State say they now spend hours on long queues at filling stations in order to buy fuel, a situation many describe as artificial and deliberate. Checks by Trust TV's news reveal that most of the filling stations remain closed, while those selling the product are selling between 800 and 820 naira per litre. From Katsina, Abdullahi Yamadi now reports.
For Katsina residents, the prolonged hardship occasioned by fuel scarcity, inadequate electricity and water supply in a country where majority are low-income earners is gradually becoming unbearable. At the moment, motorists in Katsina spend almost the entire day under the scorching sun and excessive heat, trying to fuel their vehicles despite an additional increase in the price of the commodity. Prices of petroleum products vary from one filling station to another, with marketers saying there is no fixed price since sales is controlled by market forces. One thing that is real is that Katsina residents are seriously feeling the pain and are being stretched unduly.
It's very, very unfortunate. They are causing artificial scarcity. Despite the increment in the price, they refuse to open their pump to sell to consumers. It's very, very unfortunate.
So depending on how you got the products, at now we are selling at 775 naira per litre. As we heard, the government is trying to crash down the official pump price. That's why some of our marketers are afraid to produce their products because they don't want to lose.
Already, Katsina residents who have been suffering from acute shortage of electricity are beginning to abandon their vehicles, with many businesses relying on petrol collapsing. In the same vein, inter- and intra-state transport fares have significantly increased in Katsina, causing serious concern to residents. This hardship was caused by insinuations that the price of petroleum products may crash. This is making marketers afraid of getting new stock with the old price for now. We have been experiencing this for the past 4 days.
Passenger na korafin an ƙara mai kuɗin mota, direba na korafin an ƙara mai kuɗin mai.
Kindly tell the government that enough is enough. Our revolt may not augur well for the leaders. This artificial hardship was deliberately created, and we think there is a political undertone to this. The earlier the government intervened, the better. Public commentators are advocating immediate government intervention to save people from falling into another economic crisis due to the artificially created fuel scarcity by few individuals. Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria says it is expecting that the Dangote refinery will reduce the price of its diesel further to about 700 naira per litre. The National Vice President of IPMAN, Hamid Fashola, stated this on Wednesday while appreciating the Dangote refinery for reducing the price of diesel from over 1,200 naira to 1,000 naira. Fashola maintained that the marketers have high expectations that the price of diesel will still go down. According to him, the rebound of the naira against the dollar will bring about an appreciable reduction in the diesel price. Dangote began the sale of diesel about 2 weeks ago, crashing the cost of diesel from 1,600 naira per litre to 1,250 naira per litre. Last Tuesday, the refinery announced another price cut to 1,000 naira per litre. From the international scene, South Africa's African National Congress, the ANC, has lost a legal bid to stop a new party from using the name and logo of its former armed wing. The governing ANC had argued that Umkhonto Wesizwe, the MK, headed by ex-President Jacob Zuma, had breached the trademark law. But the Durban High Court disagreed, allowing the use of the name, which translates as Spare of the Nation. It is a significant victory for MK ahead of the 29 May general election. 2 men have been shot dead and 6 others injured after a mass shooting broke out at a block party in Memphis. The Memphis Police Department responded to emergency calls made by a park on Cannes Avenue near Mount Street at 7:19 p.m. on Sunday. They arrived to find 5 victims at the scene, of which 2 were pronounced dead, while the 3 others were immediately taken to hospital. Officials said that soon after, 11 other victims arrived at the hospital in private vehicles. In sports, Kano Pillars ended their 3-game losing streak with a thumping 4-0 home win over Gombe United to complete a double over the Savannah Scorpions in Kano as March Day 31 games were held last weekend. Omar Shehu and Rabiu Ali both secured a double each to see Seima Sigida move to the 8th spot with 44 points from 31 games. Katsina United extended their unbeaten streak to 5 games with a routine 2-0 home win over Sporting Lagos in Abdullahi Bifo's debut game as head coach at the Muhammad Diko Stadium, Katsina. Pitted against his former team, Bifo and his noisy Lagosians were sent back home empty-handed through Andrew Idoko and Michael Ibe goals. And finally, the Super Falcons defender Ashley Plumter has undergone a successful surgery in Saudi Arabia. Plumter sustained the injury while in action for Saudi club Al Ittihad last month. The injury forced her to miss Nigeria's 2024 Olympic Games qualifier against the Banyana of South Africa. The former Leicester City player took to her X account on Sunday night, April 21, to announce the news of her surgery and thank the club, national team, as well as her fans for their support. And with that, we wrap up Trust News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.